little cyber group history for all of our members inside our live trading room. Even as a veteran member of our trading room, we have a bunch of us joining us here in this live meeting right now. I saw Leda just earlier, Lawrence, Phil, I saw Carol just before, Chris from earlier, Andrea, obviously, Grant, etc., etc. I've been here since 2014. Well, with saying that, Siri has never, ever moved the way it has been. I mean, you could even just say since the end of June, but we never called it out here. We did not trade Siri over the last 2 weeks. I always shoot straight. No one called it out. I'm telling you, we had our hands full on other stocks. I think one of our members on YouTube asked about Siri maybe back yesterday or the day before. And, at the time, I thought it just made the most of its move on the intraday. I said, all right, definitely keep an eye on it. I didn't notice it for the first time until then. So, all right, definitely write it down on our side list. Moved on from it. Other stocks to trade today, right? We didn't follow this at all until just, here. Ended up flying on up, heading into like 2 o'clock, a little bit afterwards. Got halted on the way down, I think this is even. And then ended up getting halted on the way up, not just once, but now twice. This thing is flying. And when I tell you I haven't seen this stock ever move, take my word for it. This thing has been in like a decade's worth of consolidation, half a decade's worth, you can basically say. But from like 2018, mid 2018, all the way to basically beginning of this year, it was just in a dollar range. This thing barely has ever moved. So it's a fun time to trade this stock right now. Don't be reluctant. This thing's flying. So, we always say eventually these things are going to eventually make a move that we could try and capitalize on. You don't want to follow a stock like this really at all. Just be honest with you. Last 8 years, this thing has done nothing pretty much. But hey, if it pops up on our scanners, pops up on our radars, then we have to absolutely respect it the way it's been moving so far. So even for right now, your major resistance up top is seemingly off $8 at 384,000 share iceberg. And it just reopened up. 650 is your opening halt print right there. Big print just got filled at the price 650. There's been a bunch of larger transactions that have gotten filled, though, on that tape, though. So I probably need to filter my level 4. But, though, hey, 650 is definitely a key level to keep in mind. If it drops lower, maybe like a 635. But let's see if this can keep going for right now. Nice pop. Looked like a little Fausto flag that just broke there, too. Another halt. Looked like we were about to get one there coming in for a second. Well, so far, so good. Just make sure 650 could hold now on this trade. If not now, then obviously once we finish up this meeting, maybe there could be a better move on it as I say that. There we go. A nice pop higher. So, all right. Hey, hopefully there's more left for me to jump in on this trade. I did not jump in on this trade, at least heading into this meeting. I took some money off the table on GFAI, and that's the stock I was going to go to outside of Siri here. So GFAI, I am no longer in this trade. It was a great entry off of Rogers, 666 price. We typed that in the chat board. A big iceberg popped up on the bid there. And essentially, GFAI fell into it, made a beautiful slingshot right here heading into 2 o'clock. I missed that move too, Roger. Roger said his boss called him in, and I was like, shoot, all right, I ended up missing that trade. However, the next level up provided the next entry. So off of 7, tested it once, tested it twice, looked like a Fausto flag, and then the pop. So this led to a great squeeze, clean dollar move up. I ended up getting just a little over 50 cents. Just, when a stock breaks to a big level, you're looking for a big move shortly after. I'll take 50 cents or so, if not more, but I don't want to be juggling a lot of bowling pins in the air right now. Doing this meeting, going over Siri, a bunch of other trades here, scanning through. My man Steve getting some money on GFAI. Elizabeth earlier got like 70 cents herself on it. It's a great catch. So, yeah, either way, we're going to put GFAI on our list here too. 2 runners. Nice way to start this meeting off, folks. Siri got halted again. Told you that was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen around like 690 there, but it kept going a little bit more, and then from that point pushed higher. Now, let's go back on Siri really quickly, folks. I mean, we could just do it these two. I feel like our hands are going to be tied with these 2 stocks anyway. But looking at the weekly chart, I could probably do this cleaner if I had more time. But loosely speaking, like 680-ish, basically from like last year into this year, was one strong historical level. Perhaps another one that you could potentially keep an eye on is right around here, a little over 7, maybe 705, 704. So that's the next support level that it needs to build off of. the more it runs parabolic, it's eventually going to shake back down. And not only that, the more it gets halted going up, it's going to get halted going down. So be careful on this trade now more than ever. If you're able to get in off 650, then you're up good already, right? I'm rooting it on, but don't be afraid to take the money and run at this stage like Steve and Elizabeth did before. All right, well, I'll tell you what, and you take your eyes off a stock like PSH or PSQH. Also try saying that 3 times fast. Well, take your eyes off a stock like this. Geez, this thing completely flew up without us. I mean, that's fine. Again, if it's not one, it's the other, but this thing is very illiquid. It's on a 30-cent spread. I'd rather the other two at this point. So if you're in from a lower price, rooting it on, but I don't think that this is a good trade from this point. Interesting. You got the PSQH warrants on here too, also very illiquid. So not going to follow that either, but typically the warrants are up more percentage-wise. EVLO, come on down. Another big runner here heading into this afternoon meeting, up over 42% or 41%, but that's the issue. This is the issue right here. It was a 16, 17-cent spread. We don't need this. We don't need to trade a stock on a 17-cent spread, especially a $9 stock, mind you. If this was NVIDIA, if this was the price of Microsoft, I'd understand. But for a $9 stock, it's just way too high risk. It's moving up and rooting it on if you're in already. But now this a little bit easier on the eyes in terms of the order book. It's up as much percentage-wise too. So I'll definitely put a stock like this on here, but I also will say this is like a little slow for right now. So you want to have something even perhaps a little bit sharper than this, a little bit less crazy than EVLO. Ooh, XXII ran also today too. There's so many that ended up squeezing up heading into like kind of quiet lunchtime time of the day. So not always does that happen. If you felt like you missed out, if you had FOMO and you missed everything, don't worry. We got about 65, 70 more minutes left of action remaining. So we'll see if there's anything left that we could follow up with. The GFAIs out there, the series out there. He was from before the market open session. This popped and dropped already. Gorilla, same deal. This one more was from pre-market, then completely tanked at the open. Zion, one of the regional banks, more of a choppy move for a $37 trade. Boyle, choppy, but trended off the lows really nicely. And with this, the cheaper trade, UNG, is like quote unquote safer. If you're following the sector, they're all going to make a similar type of move. But in terms of pace, I mean, Boyle price wise, but also order book wise, they all made the same type of move up. Boyle, UNG, the natural gas ETFs there. Ooh, nice pop right now. PGY. This stock actually we've had on our watch list for a little bit now. I think from yesterday and the day before, heading into the afternoons. We were hoping for a sharper run like this year. So definitely good to see. PGY. All right, so that takes us over to the loser side here, folks. If there's anything else that looks good on the way up, let me know. But the markets were breaking lower heading into this meeting. So with that, there's a couple of stocks that I was calling out short. AI and Mara, and we'll get to a couple of others in just a bit. VIR. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is down big and shortable, but it's about 20 cents off from the lows, so it has a ways to go to get to there. And if it does break there, how much lower is it going to go? Definitely one to follow up with tomorrow, I think, VIR. I think more so than anything, this move's just more tired out, exhausted. Say that here. Say that here for the most part, even though it looks like it's moving. $102 stock, it should be making a pretty decent, trend up or down. So, end up holding off of 103-ish or so, but that's really it there. EPLS. This one's closer to the lows, I feel. Price-wise and all. Don't have a great need, though. Carvana is shortable all of a sudden. I don't know if you realized that from earlier. CVNA is actually easy to borrow on TradeStation platform right now. Doesn't mean you should trade it, though. It's just way too chaotic right now. I'd pass on it. The VRM trade moves with Carvana, so obviously that tanked with it. Now, obviously, that takes us to Tesla now. So market's down, Tesla getting cooked. Geez. So earlier today, this ended up breaking below support off of 270. I mean, it tanked right out the gate, but 270 was a key iceberg level. If you joined me earlier in the Investor Expo multi-speaker event, we were talking about this live, showing the iceberg order at 270. And this played out exactly how I thought it was going to. Because when we were leaving off with it, it was as it was pulling back down. I was saying, well, hey, if this fails to hold a higher low, and if this keeps testing 270 over time, the more or since it's already tested it like 2 or 3 times already before that, well, just on the very next test of it, the very next attempt, cracked it right on down. So let's take a look at Bookmap here. There we go. Typically for Tesla, you want to trade the $5 incrementals, so 265, 270, etc. So 265 next big level, 260 after that. Now, if Tesla's too expensive for you, that is okay, because it's too expensive for me in terms of trading the stock. You could trade the option, buy puts on it, but here's where you could trade TSLL. This is an ETF. But again, we talked about this in the morning meeting. So we're going to put both on our list, Tesla stock and TSLL, the 1.5x leveraged ETF. All right, so that kind of leads me to say, and I'll probably jinx myself with this, probably not a whole lot left out there. And as I say that, another ETF here, not SOXS, which I think Larry had called out earlier, which actually remind me of pushing back up right now. I'd rather trade this on the way up than SOXL on the way down. It's quintessentially the same thing. But as this goes up, SOXL goes down. That's basically the chip tech sector. So NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, Intel, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously right now, AMD down nearly 5%, but breaking new lows. NVIDIA, same deal. We don't really trade the ETFs as frequent, folks. We always have new members joining us, so I have to just say that repeatedly. But that's because, A, it's a lot more difficult to follow order flow without Bookmap, without level 4 on an ETF. But then otherwise, the days that we will trade an ETF are the days where the markets are making sharper moves, up or down. So here in the case of today, down. And with that, actually, there's one I'm just thinking of on the top of my head. I guess it wasn't up as much percentage-wise. Had a huge pop just a moment ago, though. UVXY, good timing. Perhaps more to come on this trade. It's only up 1%, so that's why we didn't find it on the gainers list. But should the markets keep dropping, then especially after the sharper pop that this just had here, I'm a fan. So I'll put UVXY on our list here too. All right. So let me know, folks, if there's anything else looking good, up, down, left, right, more than 5%. Take a look at some side list stocks here coming up. My AI trade, I bought puts on this earlier, so it's been off to a great trade, but relatively slow for a $40, $39 stock. It is at the lows, so it could be a nice short heading into the afternoon here. But there's going to be a lot that looks like this. So I'm not like going to put this on the main special list just because I'm in it. It's like just if there's something better than this, I'd rather follow that. How about Rivian? I mean, not down. I mean, this is going completely against the grain up until this point. So Rivian, I forgot about here, just popped up in my head. You know what? It's holding strong. It's hard to ignore. It's not up that 5 or 10%, mind you, but had a hell of a morning so far. It's been holding near the highs, right now still, even with this little shake. All right, what else we got here? Mike saying Chewy at the low of the day. Chewy's in trouble. Looking at that gap, Chewy needs to hold support here if it wants to be anywhere near bullish. But I don't think that's going to be the case there, Mike. Yeah, I mean, not a bad trade at all, Chewy. I could kind of group this with AI. This looks a little bit better than AI, down a little bit more than AI percentage-wise. What else do we have? Let's see if there's anything even better. No harm with trading Chewy, Mike. Good call. If you do well on Chewy consistently, you know who you are. You could probably say the same on Roblox. A lot is moving, folks. So just the goal of this afternoon is to not be overwhelmed. I would just recommend to traders here, unless if there's a stock that is making an extreme move that you know that we're going to look to call out, I would refrain from calling out the side list stocks otherwise. even if you're trading it, and I'm rooting you on. For anyone that's trading like an AMD, a Roblox, a Chewy, a Neo, or whatever it may be. And this looks like crap. Hope no one trades Neo right now. This is slow, not going anywhere. Probably same to be said with SoFi. Palantir at the lows, but also pretty slow. There's going to be some trades that you should probably avoid regardless. But otherwise, though, I just don't want our students to be overwhelmed with how much there really is moving. So I like what we have here so far, folks. Again, I'm sure that we're all going to be inclined to follow the stocks that are looking best in our opinion. So if there's a side list stock that is tradable and you do well on, crush it. I hope you do. I hope you follow it into the close. And, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Yeah, Pac W on the way down. That's just a side list play. RXRX. I'm kind of looking just all at the morning stocks that we were going through. Key Bank, I forgot about this. This actually had a nice reversal from the pre-market drop it had earlier and then pushed up. Just more of a side list play as well. I'm not going to put this on the main one. Anyone from YouTube or social media here, if there's any other stocks that you have for me, let me know. Just going to take a last look at Benzinga Pro, our scanners here. Take one last look at Siri. Again, we don't need to build out a big list when this thing is just ripping. So let me ask right now, is anyone in on Siri still? I know John just got out on half of his trade. All of us, who is in on Siri? I mean, this thing sure went under, over, moved up much higher. Hey, congratulations. Ronnie sold it at a 32% gain. Love to hear that. Steve's still in. Elizabeth's still in. And what I said earlier holds true. I know it pushed up higher, but the more times this thing gets halted on the way up, it's going to get halted on the way down. You don't want to be a part of that. I'm telling you. So, scale out accordingly. You could scale out. You don't need to sell the whole thing out in one shot, but, over time, definitely take the money and run. Now, really quickly, I'm thankful I caught this here today. I never really look at the other tabs outside of the main chat, but one of our trial members here asking or saying, please list trades to enter buys and sells. Allow me just to make a mention to any of our trial members joining us here. Don't look to buy and sell what we're calling out. And I've said that from the morning meeting today. Fausto said that just from the beginning of this week. Until you go through our curriculum and truly understand what we're calling out and why we're doing what we're doing, it's best to observe. And then just see that, hey, you know what? We're actually calling out these runners, not just like on a fluke occasion. This is literally every day of the week. That's the goal of the trial membership. But from there, though, once you're going through our classes, that's where we have the chance and time, like more time than this like little meeting, to actually teach it. But with that, though, that's where we would say to, at least look to follow level 3, follow level 4. You need to know where the big icebergs are first before you know what the stock is more likely to do. And then also, mind you, might I say, Fausto and I are not financial advisors. We cannot directly tell you where to buy and sell. We've always said that from the get-go, folks. That's why I'm trying to scream caution here. Look at the drop. Look at the drop. Here we go. I mean, it's easy to say for as much as it pushed up, but who wants to be on the receiving end of this? Right? So it's easy to take the money and run. You could always get back in on the trade if it affords you the chance to. By afford you the chance to, it means by pulling back to big support and then holding from there. What if it doesn't hold from there? Well, you have to know how to manage the trade and look to get out before it really shakes lower. And that's what we teach you throughout our curriculum. All right. You got to learn before you could earn, folks. For any of our new trial members joining us here, I'm certain that most of us already have done this, but please, if you have not done this yet, then you're doing yourself, honestly, more of a disservice than anything. Just make sure that you call our office, schedule a set time with your education advisor. I'm telling you, it takes like 10 minutes. They're going to be able to teach you everything about the trial membership, where to access the pre-recorded workshops. So there is supplemental education that comes with this trading room, but please contact our office if you have not been in contact with them already. If you have, perfect. All right, folks. But hey, best of luck trading heading into the market close here for all of us in social media. If you're interested in joining John and Kathleen, Leda and Steve and Rodney and Michael and Elizabeth, just what you could do is, if you're fancy with your phone, as I like to say, just scan the QR code right there on the bottom of the screen, get access to a week-long trial inside our live trading room. And then otherwise, just if you're just not as fancy, go right down to the link on the banner below, on the bottom of the banner below, scrolling there, ctu.co/trial, and you could join all of our students there. All right, folks. Hey, Rich will be on the mic in about T-minus 8 minutes, taking you into the rest of the afternoon. Best of luck.